From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD, Primetime Capper, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, and it is the last day of pretty much 2023. It's not the last day officially. Tomorrow's the last day, but it's the last day. It's the last weekend of 2022, and this is the last show of 2022 as well, too. So pretty much, let's go ahead and jump into it. You guys already know what time it is, man. We've been cooking in the NCAA bowl world. And up first, we got the Sugar Bowl preview. And the Sugar Bowl preview is going to be a fun one. We have ourselves good old Alabama, number 5 in the nation, going against TCU. I'm not TCU, I'm sorry. K-State, actually, in that game. So we have ourselves a very, 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 very good-looking game here. So when I look at this game, I see Alabama. You know, we all come in here with the idea that Alabama should dominate this game, but you have to understand, are they inspired? That's the biggest question that I have coming into the game, because that's the whole thing. Now it's really like they already got enough tape for draft, you know, their NFL prospects. Also, they got enough, you know, they're not playing for a national championship. So usually when you have a team like this who's so dominant and they are not playing for a national championship, you might have to kind of, you know, look at it and be like, damn, you know, this is one where it might not go the way that you want it to go. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just, to me, it's something that you really have to put into fruition, that, you know, you have yourself a very good, you know, have yourself a very good look at this game. Now, when I look at my notes, I will check into my notes, and my notes say this for this game: Bama has been a favorite in every single game, including this one. They're a 6.5-point favorite right now as we speak, and pretty much we have them 5-6-1 against the spread this year. All right. And they're 10-2 as a favorite straight up. That's their record. So, you know, everything kind of works out in that accord. Now, when it comes down to non-conference games, they are 2-2 against the spread. We all know that because they had games where teams covered back ends and stuff like that. In the Texas game, where they had to literally they literally had to win that game in the end. And so you have a straight up 4-0 versus non-conference. So they have that working out for them as well, too. And then when you wrap it on up, then when it comes to over and unders this year, even though Bama did have some games where they scored a lot of points, they still went under in 7 of those 12 games. So Bama is usual suspects. I think, what is this, like their 70th Sugar Bowl? I don't know. Which got, I don't have the exact number. Let me see. How many Sugar Bowls has Alabama been to? Alabama Sugar Bowl appearances. Because I know this is a game that they literally are always in since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Sugar Bowl appearances. All right. And it looks like they've been in this game. They were in this game last year as well, too. Yeah, they've been to 8 Sugar Bowls all time. So, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and confirm exactly how many Sugar Bowls they've been in. So they've been in 8. So pretty much we got K-State 9-3-1 against the spread this year. 3-2 against the spread straight up as an underdog this year as well too. That's a good sign for K-State backers. And then when it comes down to the non-conference, they're 2-1 against the spread and straight up. Now, in their 13 games, they went under 7 times. K-State is no Oklahoma. I remember Oklahoma played Bama in a Sugar Bowl game, and Derrick Henry was a part of this game as well too. This is when Derrick Henry busted out as a superstar. So, they lost that day, Alabama. This game right here, possible upset, but honestly, I don't see that happening. And the 7 points that they're laying now, because that's what it's jumped up to. No, you just know that they're going super heavy on Bama here. And I think Bama wants to send one last message, to show people what they're going to do possibly next season. But I think the Alabama wave is settled down. It's pretty much crashed to the beach floor, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I'll have your tickets for you guys in a moment once we get to talking tickets. So let's go ahead and jump into our next spot, which is going to be the Music City Bowl. I think this might be just a game that the alumni watch. If you're an Iowa alumni, Kentucky alumni, you'll watch it. SEC versus the Big Ten as well too. So that's something that's working out in that regard. But all in all, though, this one is a game that you look at and you say to yourself that, you like Iowa, but you like Kentucky because Kentucky's played very good football this season as well, too. So, you got two teams that are just very even. They're both 7-5 coming into the game. They're both very defensive this season as well, even though Kentucky had some issues with their coaching staff. But, all in all, what were the expectations for Kentucky? Kentucky actually played they regressed a little bit this year because they were seen to have a good season this year. I couldn't believe they were actually in the top 15 to start the year off. That was absolutely insane to me. So, I think that Kentucky wants to figure out ways to, be real good to show off for next season. But that means absolutely nothing, in my opinion, because, Iowa's the type of team that they play a defense that will really frustrate you. And I think that when you're not a high-end offensive team, they really do have the advantage in the game, and I'm looking at it now. Iowa's 7-5 against the spread. Big difference between the spread and games. You know what I mean? It's almost have that. You have a team that pretty much has played even kill all year. So it's not they haven't been a real good team when it comes to really throwing some money on them this year. But all in all, it's when it's time for certain games, this team does show up. And that's what makes this bet kind of special in a sense, because you really do have two teams that are very evenly matched playing in a major bowl game as well, too. Because there's teams that were 9-4 and 9-3 and, all that stuff playing against each other in way lesser bowls. So, this one I think is more about this bowl game is more about these two teams and the way that their fans travel, So you have Iowa as a favorite against the spread. They're 3-3. They're 1-2 against the spread versus non-conference. They're 4-2 straight up as a favorite this year. 2-1 straight up versus non-conference. And then they are also have went, of course, under in 8 out of their 12 games this year. So, when you have your over-unders being constantly hovering around 43, 44, what type of team that you're dealing with in this regard. So I truly feel that Iowa does have the advantage here because they are ready for the big game situation. Every time Kentucky had a big game this year, they didn't look that good. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. Kentucky is 8-4 against the spread this year. They're 5-1 against the spread as an underdog. They are also 3-1 as against the spread versus non-conference. And then when it comes down to being an underdog in general, they are 3-3 straight up. So they can cover, but the cover is a pick 'em. So you can go either way in this game. So that's what makes it really tough. And then this team also, one thing that does work out for all the under bettors and why the under is sitting at 31, over under is sitting at 31, is because Kentucky actually went under in 11 out of their 12 games this year. So that explains why they have such a low number. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Preview. All right. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into the Fiesta. All right. Fiesta Bowl. Corporate ones, you know what I mean? They used to be a part of the Big Four. Now it's still a new NY 6 bowl game, but it doesn't. Fiesta Bowl features TCU, and this is the CFP final. Here, number 3, 12-1, 12-1, going against Michigan. Here, TCU, really got to hang around because simply they didn't want to mess it up like they've done all these years. And I think they kind of want to prove a point, win the Big 12 championship. But that doesn't matter to TCU. Pretty much all their games, they fell short by a little. CFP. Now, TCU 9-3-1 against the spread this year. First non-conference, and then they are 7-6. They are 8-4-1 against the spread. They're 7-4-1. Now, as a favorite, straight up, we all know the deal. They're 12-0. First non-conference, they're 3-0 because they're undefeated. So, of course, they're going to have. But this team does start slow, in my opinion. And I think TCU line is showing me that TCU is going to make this game a lot closer than the Michigan. But, all in all, if there's a blowout, it'll be 50 bag. It's that simple. All right. So let's move forward and jump, because we do have bowl games coming up Monday, but we're going to talk about those a little bit. I will highlight the Rose Bowl when we do to have Monday's show, because that is. So we have the Peach Bowl. The Peach Bowl features the defending national champion who's riding a 25-game winning streak going into this game. 25-game winning streak. Actually, yeah, 25-game. No, it's not a 25-game winning streak, because they lost that championship game last year to Bama. But all in all, they're riding we would say now a 14-game winning streak. But this team, literally in the last, I would say 3 years, they've probably lost about 2 games. Okay, so Georgia comes in here, the ultimate team, but Ohio State's been here before. That's the whole thing. They took down a Miami team years ago, back 20 years ago to be exact, in Phoenix. So not Phoenix, actually, in Tempe. Oh, where they used to play the Fiesta Bowl at when they played it over at Arizona State, Frank Kush Stadium. So you have the Ohio State Buckeyes coming in here 5-6-1 against the spread. Then you have the you have the spread in non-conference as well too. They 1-2 against the spread in non-conference, but they're 3-0 straight up versus the non-conference. And when it comes to the over/under, this team has went over in 9 of their 12 games, and we all know why, because their defense is not the best. But it's Ohio State. They still got studs on that side of the ball. But with the way their offense plays, who cares, right? But they should have cared a little bit more when they played Michigan that day, though. I know that for a fact. So Georgia comes in here. This is where Ohio State has a chance. Georgia's 7-6 against the spread. I was stunned when I saw that. But I know that Georgia's been giving spreads like plus 20s and minus 20s, minus 30s, and games that you knew they weren't going to do all that, because Georgia's the type of team, they go into the game, they're not worried about annihilating you. They're just going to beat you. That's all they're going to do. Like, they've had blowouts this season, but they had a lot of games where they won by 2 touchdowns, but it was comfortable because of how great their defense is. And I think that if their defense does get a little, gets a little punched in the face a little early, Ohio State can put themselves in a good position here. So this game to me looks like it's going to be the get stomped in this spot. But the way that they lost their last game and the way that they've been, Ohio State's ready to go ahead and answer the question. And, back seat and focus in on getting another national championship. So we'll see this game to actually be the national championship, but it didn't work out that way. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take us a quick little. We'll jump into. I'm trying to make sure y'all see me before we go. Tonight, after the break, we're going to talk state of the Lakers first, and then we'll tickets right after that. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Prime.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump. The state of the Lakers, and the Lakers, man, they're just going through the motions of a team that has a lot of run their course a little bit. LeBron James is now coming out saying, we have ourselves a very LeBron James is the biggest reason why the Lakers are kind of in the position their assets. You know what I mean? And LeBron wasn't thinking about take the role on. I feel like the way he was supposed to. He was supposed to be Kuzma, Caruso, who else? All these guys that were drafted by the Lakers, who were Lakers took their time. Is that LeBron got a little impatient but here and just got AD in free agency. Okay, so to make sure that the guys he wants to have. Basketball players are asked to play basketball in general. I can't wear every single hat, and that's what the biggest problem is with LeBron is that when and Pat Riley wasn't going to let you do that, but you still had some. We understand that, and then all these same teams got rid of you. Admit that and say that, but we all know that's the reason why LeBron left. Him not being good, but I think that it's a bad LeBron, then trade him. That's my thing. Anything crazy or anything like that, you can just trade him. That's it, and that's all. Where we're going, that's where we're going to. And yes. No. Yeah. All right. So they play the Hawks tonight. December. And they lost their last game 108. Home straight up, they're 11-7. 12-8 straight up is a favorite. 4 against the spread at home, they're 8-10. And as the they win as a favorite, but they can't cover as a favorite. And they are to be over under. They've actually went over in 20 of their 35 games. And when it comes down to the under, they've actually went under in 10 out of their 18 games. And then when it comes down to the West, they've actually went ahead and went over in 5 of their 8 games against the West. So my thing is like this. They're looking to get themselves their good win at home because this is going to be for LeBron, and they always show up for the Lakers as well too because the Lakers been bad and they showed up. Pretty much you have the road right now as well too. Against the spread, they are 8. The East, they're also 6-9 when it comes to the spread. 22 against the spread overall. It's just sad with the Lakers right now, in a sense. You know what I mean? They've went over in 21 of them. Now on the road, they've had 19 games. They went over games they played against the East. All right, so pretty much this is what we will do. This game does call for the Lakers to have a step it up moment because LeBron kind of called out in that regard. Now, all in all, the Lakers know that kind of still close and they're still got an opportunity to be in the play. Things can work out, things should work out, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. Talk about our NBA Friday night. All right, NBA Friday night. For a long time, but you know, Chicago and Detroit, they always gonna go at it. You know that. Detroit coming in here 9-28. You had the Bulls 15-19 coming into the game. There's a big spread to it and a big over-under number to it. And you know, 21-100, they snapped that 6-game losing streak as well, too. But they're only 4 season as well, too. So this team is bad. Straight up on the road, they're 4-15. They've lost. They're 8-28. Jeez, Lou. And then when it comes down to playing the Central Division, their own, and 3 this year on the road against the 16-17-3 against the spread as a dog. Now, one against the spread versus the Central. Now, over under and their third game as a favorite one time this year. They've actually went over in 21 of those. Actually went under in 10 out of those 19 games. And when it comes down to the 21 games that they've played against the East. Now the Bulls coming in here 6 at the Bucks. No, versus the Bucks. This game was in Chicago. Sorry about that. At home, they're 5-7 straight up as a favorite. They're 13-9 straight up versus. When it comes down to the spread, they're 16-17-1 against the spread. There's as an underdog against the spread versus the East, they're 14-17 games at home. They went under in 10 of them. And when it comes down to playing the Eastern, their division, they're 3-1. What I like here is they're not. The Bulls are looking like a team that playing against an old bitter rival in the Pistons, and it doesn't really matter about records here. We actually do get, we will play the scoreboard and a half in this spot. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. In Milwaukee tonight as well too. I think they have some. I did get this in before they took it off the board, but they're going to put it. Numbers were all correct and everything like that. They had took it off the board, but I worked 2-12. The Bucks home sweet home for them right now. Was coming here 5-8 in the month of December. They lost their last game 119, a fourth loss in a row as well too. Now straight up on the road, they're 7. Versus the East straight up, they're 7-6. Against the spread, they're 14-21. They're 5-8. Now, when it comes to the over under, they've actually went under in 19 games. They're split 9-9. And then when it comes to the 7 times. Now the Bucks come in here 7-7 in the month. They lost a really, really tough one to the Bulls the other night as well. Their usual winning, and they are 14-3 straight up at home. They're 20 Western Conference, and they're 17-15-2 against the spread. At home against the Western Conference, they're 9-5-1 against the spread. Now, when it so where we at 18 times in their 34 games. They went over 11 times in their set. The Bucks to just go ahead and take care of their business. This is a bounce back spot. And I think sometimes when you take the team that's struggling, that's the big dog. Milwaukee as well too, so you can note that. But I think the Bucks, and that's where how I'm feeling in the spot. So we'll see how it goes. Takes out, but spot, which is going to be you have a lot of you have a 76ers team. It's saying that the Pelicans are the favorite here. On the money is now poured in on the 76ers. 116 and 111. That snapped the 8-game winning streak as well, too. Actually, they're now have lost 2 out of 3 to Washington this year. They're 6-8 against the spread straight up on the road. They're 15-7 straight up as a 13-1 against the spread. Now, when it comes down to being a favorite against the spread, they're 13-18 and 3. Now, over under, they've went over in 18 of their 33 games. In 9 of those 14 games. So, they got that's why they would go to being the favorite for. So that's why they got to make them the they have a 4-game winning streak going as well too. They're 15-4 at home. One of the straight up as an underdog this year, and 4 straight up versus the Eastern Conference, and they're 18-16 against the well, we already have that, but they're 20. They've went over. They've went under in 10 out of their 19 home games, and I look at this one. I say to myself that we're gonna have ourselves. If it's going to be on ESPN tonight because there's a lot of bowl games going on and everything like that, and I think a lot of people will be tuned into this, and a lot of people Pellies at home because the Pellies are just that good at home. You know what I mean? Minus 105 is. I like the way that's looking, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but we'll move forward. Be the battle of up north. You got Northern California to be exact, and that's going to be the Blazers. Okay. and 16, Warriors 18-18. Warriors looking is coming off that road trip, and they've actually haven't lost a game since losing. Curry, I'm sorry, but they haven't lost a home game since losing Curry. All right. Over the Hornets at home, 124-113. Also, they're 10-10 straight up on the road. They're straight up against the spread, 21-13, the best mark in the league. 12 is the spread. Now, they are 15-9 against the spread versus the Western Conference. Times, and on the road in 20 games they went under 12 times. So some Portland Magic tonight in San Francisco. You have, and they were a dog in that game, so it was pretty crazy to see them win two at home, and then they're also 4-10 straight up as the underdog, but they did win their last game as the dog. They're 11-8 straight up versus 12-4-1 against the spread at home, and they're 6-8 against the spread as an the Western Conference. Now, in their 36 games, they've and versus the West in 19 games, they've actually went over 11. Score and score some more type of game tonight, Friday. Entertain the home tonight, Dame Lillard. So it should be a good game. I like the way this. All right. So we move. Jazz and the Kings. So we got Jazz and Kings. Jazz coming in here kind of struggling a little bit. Lost the last 2 in a row. They're 6-7 in the month of December. They're 7-3 versus the West this year. They're 20-17 against the spread. And then they're 16-10 against the spread versus the Western Conference. Now they're actually went over 19 times, and in their 20 road games, they went over 11. Back, somewhat get themselves back into the winner circle to 7 and 126, a very tough game against the Nuggets. In a back-to-backs, they played 2 nights in a row. They're 10-7 straight up at home. Conference 19-14 against the spread, 9-8 against the spread at versus the West. Now, when it comes down to the over/under in 33 games, they went. So this one tonight, what I like here is I like the Jazz. I think that we're getting too confident in the Kings. The Kings are a good team, but they still have to prove. You know, as I said before, they played 33 games this year. They haven't played in a few days either, but I do like the Jazz in this spot tonight. So we'll see how Friday night, the 5 that I got for you, the super high 5, you know, so talking tickets. Bowl bets, and our first bowl bet just over here. There we go. Bama -7 over 28 first half, plus half a point. K-State first quarter. K-State under 24.5 team total. We move forward. Music City bowl bets over 31 with this game, full game over 31. Iowa money line -125 first half. Iowa plus 125 first quarter, half a point. And then we'll have the Iowa over 14.5 team total as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out in that regard. Now we have the Fiesta Bowl. Fiesta, the under 58 for this game. I expect defense to be played on both sides in this spot. I got TCU covering that first half, and I got TCU jumping out to an early lead because Michigan does start slow. They've started slow in their last few games, so I'm just kind of going with that analogy, and I think Michigan keeps it under 33.5. If they're going to be under 58 points, they should be up under 33.5. This is my bold prediction for the game. I say that the game ends in a 27-20 type score or something like that, or possibly 24-20 or something like that. But it's not going to be a big, high scoring game. Peach Bowl, Ohio State money line plus 195. Ohio State first half plus 3.5, and then the under first quarter 13.5. And I know that's kind of risque because Ohio State is good at giving up touchdowns early and everything, but I think Ohio State's gonna play a more conservative game here and actually try to eat up the clock here. So we'll see how it goes, see how it checks out. But those are our bowl bets. And then we have the PrimeTime PK6, 83-1. We are gonna throw in, and this isn't the right ticket. Sorry about that, y'all. Let me go ahead and get y'all the right ticket for the PrimeTime PK6. I don't know why they threw that one in there, but let's go ahead and look at the NBA Super High Five real quick. Damn. Why you do that? Okay. 7-4, but okay. So we have the under 230 with the Bucks. I mean, not with the Bucks, but with the Pistons and the Bulls tonight. Then we got the Bucks. We got the Bucks tonight with the 6.5. We got the Bucks with the 6.5 tonight, and then we also have the Pelicans money line minus 105, and then we have the 232.5 with the Blazers and the Warriors over, and then we have the Jazz plus 135 as the NBA dog of the day. 31-1 ticket. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. And here goes the CBB PrimeTime PK6, which is going to be actually 50-1. So we have the high foot here with the plus 8 on Hartford, and then we have the minus 15.5 on Michigan State. Also, we have the plus 8.5 on Eastern Michigan today, and then we have the 17.5 on Texas A&M. We have New Orleans, and that's Washington at home against USC plus 110. And I've already released. Hopefully, I can have a good group tomorrow for you guys for the So, with that, I want to thank you guys so much. Who's the biggest, who's my idol, my hero, my everything, my father. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people, other people lost their loved ones, their parents, people that they really care for a lot. So this is a good time to just reflect on, the great things that I was able to encounter with my father, at this point of the year, and and just keeping me, game tight on this sports things. It's been a tough 2 months for me, man, here at the end. Changes that happened. There was a lot of things that were supposed to go a certain way. That's why I tell people this year, don't worry about giving yourself much more time. We don't have much time. You know what I mean? We that we move forward in a positive mind state, and we don't let the negative hear that. You gotta let it go. So that was just my little message to you guys. Up to things, relax, breathe, just chill, take. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited as well too. We're gonna Make sure to keep tuning in, and we're going to keep this movement moving. As I always say, I said it. So, I'll say it again, but the movement is moving. And let's just go ahead and have a great weekend. You guys be safe. Don't do anything crazy. If you my age, don't be acting like you still 21, because there's no point. And just know there's going to be a tomorrow. So you don't have to drink and drink and drink to make yourself feel better. You know what I mean? But have a good time, though. I'm not telling you not to have a good time. But all in all, thank you guys so much. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.